Mondays are for Motive series. I love that this business is a lifestyle business. It's something, it's kind of like an anyway business, some of us will say, because we're a product brokerage company, and the products that we are able to offer to our customers are exclusive. They're best in class. People cannot get them anywhere else except for through an unfranchised owner. And even if they try to go on Google and purchase the product, if they're not a registered customer, they will be assigned a customer manager who is an unfranchised owner. And if they are a registered customer, their order will be rerouted to the unfranchised owner who they are assigned to. So, through our everyday activities and lifestyle of using our own products, we can really grow a business. And certainly with all the tools and technology we have, we make it simpler now more than ever. So my goal for you during this session is to kind of unpack, like, what is lifestyle marketing, not in our terms as a company, but just in layman's terms, right? Like, this is something that a lot of brands and organizations lean into. So let's define it, right? So our goal when we talk about lifestyle marketing is that we want to create a connection between a product or service and a consumer's lifestyle. Lifestyle marketing is a strategic approach where a brand connects itself to their target audience by promoting or showcasing an ideal lifestyle rather than just the product or service alone. When successful at this, lifestyle brands emerge and create the idea that the use of their product or service brings its target audience closer towards their aspirations in life or the lifestyle that they want to live. So let's dig into that a little bit. One thing I want to point out here is we're really not talking about, in our life and doing this lifestyle marketing activity, we're not talking about just promoting products and pushing a product. In fact, it's more than that, right? It's like your lifestyle. What does your product, how does that empower and equip the consumer to live their life as they want, and that's why I love our mission statement with our Motives beauty brands, because really it's people empowering people to look and feel their best while achieving a lifestyle they've always dreamed about. And so that looks different for each person, right? And as we go through this series this month, in the month of June, when we talk about our Mondays are for Motive series, we're going to just build week to week on this whole concept of, we're going to go from lifestyle marketing to how do we establish a target market to, how do we pick a platform to really master. So I'm excited to sort of take you on this journey, but I hope that this explanation is helpful, because I think sometimes we just throw around these terms, assuming that everybody knows what they are or how they fit into you being an entrepreneur and leveraging our brands and leveraging our business. And maybe it's not always that way, right? So how do you fit into this mix? Well, let's think about it. And maybe you've not taken time to be intentional about this, and that's okay. That's my goal for you tonight, is to prompt that in you. So, currently, what kind of life are you living? Not only because we want to be our authentic selves, right? When we're showcasing our lifestyle, we're going to talk a little bit about social media, but we're also just talking about, like, the day-to-day, the people that you mix and mingle with. How are you presenting yourself to them? When people meet you, when they come in contact with you, what do you think that they're thinking, right? Based on, like, are you happy? Are you positive? Are you putting your best face forward, right? And looking and feeling your best. We want people to want to be around us in this business. When we talk about lifestyle marketing, really that's the goal. We want to attract people with our energy, with our vibe, with our look, with our lifestyle. So it's a lot of things involved. So, I think helping us determine, what kind of life we want to lead. Yeah, let's think about that. Like, I would assume, because we're all on tonight, that we all are looking good means a lot to us, and not in a vain sort of way, but in an empowering sort of way, right? Like, we want to exude confidence and charisma, and we can do that when we feel our best, and we feel our best when we look our best. So in order to do all those things, we have to be our biggest consumer and best customer. It's going to start with us, because if we want to authentically showcase or share products or offer solutions, we need to have an experience with those products first. So think about what you value and how our brands fit into that ideal. That's a pretty loaded statement. For me, I'll give an example. Like, what I value is living a life of intention, being intentional with my time. I value that everyone I meet, I want them to feel important. I want them to feel seen and heard. So I really try to be present and in the moment. And that can be hard because we're busy, right? As everybody is, everybody's busy. I want to live a healthy lifestyle where I have energy and I'm vibrant and I'm healthful, and I want to help other people get on that track for themselves, right? And I want to lead a good example for my children. I want them to realize like what's important and what's not. So it's really like, think about all those things that mean a lot to you. So I'd imagine that many of us have a lot of these things in common, but in particular that we value health, and that we value ourself, and that we want to put pride and energy into the way that we are stepping up and stepping into this next season of our life. So consider a cause you want to champion. I want to champion being well and living life to the fullest and making every day count, right? A problem that I want to help fix, what is it for you? I want people to feel seen and heard. For me, my target market, and you're going to learn about this in coming weeks, but it's like busy moms, they get lost in the shuffle of things of focusing on careers and children's and households and husbands. And so I just want to pause, and I want to give them time and energy, and I want to help them walk through this next journey of their life where I am introducing them to products that make them look and feel their best, right? So it's really about being of service, not of sales. And we say this often, but what a brilliant sort of tagline, right? Matching people to product and product to people. And I'll give some examples of this as we go along. But when I talk about being your largest consumer and your biggest, bestest customer, that starts with maybe filling out a home shopping list, right? Like, when was the last time you've done that? I try to do it every quarter. That falls in line with the Master Unfranchise Owner Program. But, we want to make sure that we're not overlooking some of the obvious things. Now, filling out a home shopping list and using all your own products isn't necessarily going to lead you to your target market, but you never know if that'll lead you to a sale, right? Because by using your own product, you're going to have a story a lot of times, right? That's the obvious thing. We're going to have a testimonial. But the other thing is it's a conversation starter. So one very simple example I have, and it's so funny because it like unfolded so easily. But when we talk about the home shopping list and being a product of the product, years ago, my son he was young, and his one friend came over, and when his friend's parents came to pick him up, I invited them in, and we were just like, chatting in the kitchen while the boys were wrapping up whatever they were doing. And, one of them went to the bathroom at one point, and she came out and she was like, "Oh, I really like that hand soap in there." And I actually had just put a pump on our Royal Spa bath and shower gel because it has vitamin beads and it smells kind of citrusy. And I love it so much, I use it as a hand soap. So I had that in our bathroom. And so she used that. And then I had a hand and body cream on the sink as well. But she didn't even use that, but she saw the brand of the hand and body cream, and she saw the brand of the bath and shower gel, and she didn't recognize the brands, but she liked the product. And then she walked out into the kitchen where we were, and she saw on my sink that I had Snap dishwashing soap, and we had Isotonics vitamins packets. And I forget what else was on the counter, but so she's looking around, we're talking, and she's like, "I really like that hand soap." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, me too. It's actually a shower gel, but I love it so much." She's like, "Well, I never heard of Royal Spa." And I was like, "Oh, that's one of the products that we broker out." She's like, "Oh, interesting." And she's like, "Well, is that what Snap is?" And she's like looking at my sink. I'm like, "Yeah, I was like, cleaning products aren't exciting, but It's nice that we can get paid to use the products we use all the time anyway. And she's like, well, I know you're like a health nut and I see all these vitamins. Like, is that what Jack's been talking about? Because like when when my kids' friends come over, they're often, drinking vitamin packets and stuff like that. And I said, yeah. And she's like, okay. So these are all your products that you offer with your company. I said, yes. And she's like, okay. So how does your business work? And I was like, well, basically that's what it is. We use our own products and we sell our own products, whether in a B2B space or a one-to-one environment, like a personal household. And she said, okay, so you have exclusive products that only you have access to, and you use them and you sell them and you build a business and you get paid to do that. And I said, yeah. She's like, can I do that? I was like, sure. So listen, sometimes we overcomplicate things, right? And they ended up really hardcore, but they love the products. And this has been probably 8 or 10 years of a partnership simply from a hand soap, right? So don't discount that. And that is a form of lifestyle marketing, right? That's why I tell that story. So you are your biggest customer, and the goal is for you to share that journey. And the beauty of the process is that our brands do happen to be exclusive to us and only available through us, which we did already talk about. So let's lean into that. Our company does a great job establishing these hero brands that we have. And they do their own work with social media or PR things or otherwise. And definitely we want to lean into that and we want to leverage that. But we need to really elevate our results by doing our own personal twist on these things, right? We can't rely on the company to do all of this for us. They're going to create some really cool images and some things that we can leverage. And we'll talk more about that as we go. But let's make it personal. So let me give you some examples. One example that we make this process of using product and sharing product in a lifestyle format is simply through education and tutorials, right? So one example we have here is like Lee Rader is great at doing tutorials. So she did her makeup with the Essentials collection. She took a photo of it. And then she had so many people reaching out saying, oh my gosh, I want those palettes. You make it look so easy, but can you show me? Because I'm not sure how to do this. So sure, host a workshop. This is in her dining room. Everybody pre-registers. Like you can host your workshops in different ways, but one thing that Lee does is, and many of us do, is you can pre-sell the workshops with maybe it's just a $25 deposit down, maybe it's $50 for them to leave with their own palette. Whatever type of investment they're making to secure their spot, that is going towards the purchase price. You're not charging them for the event, but it does help to make sure that people come and show up and that you don't have people backing out. But this event, so the result is sales from these 6 women at the event, and they're all friends. Like I think one of them was a customer and she invited her girlfriends over and they made like a fun girls' night in event with it. But that stemmed because of Lee with her lifestyle marketing, how she takes the photos, she is a product of the product. And when she brands herself properly with Lee Rader All Things Beauty, when people think of her, that's what they think about. So when they need help in that realm, they reach out to her and they know that that's something that she offers. So, that's something that happens with time over branding, right? So another example, again, we're talking a lot about beauty and wellness, like they go hand in hand. Obviously, Motives is a beauty brand, but listen, it makes sense for us to use all our products because we have access to them all and use as many products as we can, right? And they're best of the best and we're going to feel great. So I just made a silly little post this past fall, like mixing up an afternoon vitamin cocktail in addition to my morning one. Some days I need the extra boost. This one is looking like a science experiment. I think the water was a little warm. Anyone else drink their vitamins? It makes them more bioavailable in your system. So I'm just creating curiosity is all. I'm not pitching a product. I'm not selling a product. This is one way of kind of like marketing your lifestyle, right? Like I'm mixing up my vitamins. Now, the fortunes in the follow-up, right? So anyone who likes or comments, which by the way, let's all support each other and be a village for one another and like each other's posts and comment. Just because the more people that do that, the more visibility we have. And it seems like it gives us more credibility, right? But anyhow, so sometimes it's going to be business partners that are posting something. Other times it's going to be potential customers. So it's really great to look at who engages with that post and then maybe pop them a private message and just be like, hey, here's the link to the vitamin cocktail I mixed up. It really helps me power through the second half of my day. You don't even have to say that you sell it, like this is just sharing. We do this all the time with people. We share links, we share information. And if you were to do that, if you want to follow up and send a link, I love using the My List feature on shop.com because you can kind of just like pick a few products and put them in one landing page with one URL. And then when they click on that link, they're going to see those products all listed together and they don't have to fumble through. Another example, like this is relatable content. So we're educating, right? So, and we're leveraging a tool. So I'm like, can you make me pretty and skinny at the same time, please? Yes, so these shakes are a lifestyle. When my kids were little, and even now that they're older, they're running even more ragged. We can make excuses or find solutions, right? And then I just gave a little info there because people who are into nutrition are they may not look at the post if it's just a post with a picture with no information, but if someone's like, oh, I already drink a protein shake, but then when you put these bullet points there and they're like, wait, my protein shake doesn't have that much protein in it, or, I don't have a collagen supplement or whatever the case may be. So sometimes just like little bullet points there. Again, this is marketing my lifestyle. Like I drink protein shakes on the regular, and this is a little bit more of a direct approach, I guess you could say, where I did put a link. So like I explained in the previous post, sometimes I'll do a little legwork and I'll direct message people. Sometimes I'll incentivize them to ask me for a link. Everybody has different kind of opinions and styles of doing that, but one thing that I relate to as a consumer is I'm like super duper busy. My life is very crazy. I really don't spend a lot of time on social media. And if I'm scrolling through and I see something that interests me, I just want to click on the link and read more about it and maybe buy it at that time. I'm not really interested in commenting and having to message somebody and then wait for the link, because then I've lost interest by that time. But that's just me. That works really well for a lot of people. And that's how most people say to do it, because you don't want to be really spammy and do this often. And sometimes Facebook doesn't like when we put links in things, putting it in the comments is probably an even better suggestion. This is like an older poster example. But anyway, this isn't a social media workshop, so I digress. But I just want to make the point that, again, when you're living, like we're all busy. So when you're doing these daily things where you're using your own product, just take a snapshot and share it and create curiosity. Customers will engage with brands that they feel they identify with, particularly through shared values and interests. The connection comes when a consumer feels a brand has the specific values and interests that they align with. I thought it might be helpful to talk about some big brands that maybe we're familiar with so that we can kind of see how do we parallel these values that are normal for the everyday customer or consumer. How do we parallel those values into our brands when we are doing our lifestyle marketing? What do we want people to associate with our brands, right? So think of Lululemon. Like, I have a 14-year-old daughter, of course, like I'm familiar with this brand. When a customer buys their clothing, they're not just buying the clothing, they're buying into that lifestyle of like health and wellness. It's athleisure, but it's lifestyle, and it's also like bougie, right? The brand name people like. And, that's kind of a fascinating read. I don't know, I geek out on different brands and how they kind of flourish in the marketplace. But when you think about this is a newer brand compared to say like Nike or Adidas or some brands that have been around a while, but they really found their niche and they got a super specific demographic or target market. Red Bull, when you think about that brand and you think about their advertisements and their commercials, like they're thrill seekers, right? They're like extremists. They want a lifestyle that's associated with these active thrill seekers, right? So it's not just an energy drink. There's a lot of energy drinks on the marketplace, but I think that they do a great job really getting into that niche market or niche market, right? What about Nike? You know, obviously we're all familiar with Nike, but they do a great job connecting consumers with favorite athletes and their lifestyle. So that's a brand that probably, to my knowledge, did that before any other brands really, mainly through their sneaker collaborations. And I'm trying to think of the name of the movie. Air, I think it is. There's a movie about that story of Nike and the sneakers and you know, the original Jordans and things like that. But anyway, I digress. Even to this day, they are an iconic brand, and they do some really big collaborations with some really big people, right? So I want you to think about, like, maybe what are some brands that are big in your life? How are they marketing to you? How are you receiving that? What is working? Because there are certainly some things that we can emulate and duplicate, right? So that's a little bit about like that brand recognition and lifestyle, like sharing your lifestyle and how people associate lifestyle with brands, right? When we share isotonics, we want people to think of health and wellness. When we share Motives Cosmetics, we want people to feel like empowered beauty. Um, let's talk about now, shift gears and talk about product placement. Really, the whole goal of product placement is that we're creating curiosity. So this is so like, I can't watch a movie or a show without noticing this. I notice it all the time. So you guys can play along with me and put in the chat, like, have you noticed your favorite show or a movie subliminally promoting a brand? Or even a celebrity through their lifestyle. Again, I'm not honestly on social media or big on social media. I don't really follow celebrities, so I don't really know what all those people are doing in their life. I know what some of the celebrities that my kids kind of are aware of and what they do with their life and some of the brand collaborations that they do. But you know, and I don't really watch a lot. I wish I had time, but I don't have a lot of time for shows or movies. But let me know in the chat if you guys think of this. So what I'm talking about is like one thing that I catch every now and then is America's Got Talent, right? And so first thing I notice on America's Got Talent is the judges are lined up and they all have drink cups in front of them. And their drink cups at one point were Snapple, at one point were Dunkin' Donuts. This year in 2024, it's Sonic. Right. So like, that's really interesting to me. And maybe not everybody notices that stuff, but I do. And I'm sure a lot of us do, where it's like, oh, then I'm curious, like, how much money is Sonic paying these America's Got Talent people to put their brand there? Like, that's a huge subliminal marketing move, right? What about you know, I love the show. I don't even know if it ever came out that last series, Yellowstone, right? My husband and I enjoyed watching that together. And I noticed this, like they zoom in on these trucks, and trucks are very big on the ranches. And I'm like, dang, I wonder how much money Dodge is paying Yellowstone for the advertising there. What about, and I end up having two of these examples with Tom Hanks, but in the movie with Wilson, right? And obviously we all know Forrest Gump and him opening those sneakers. Like, so this, I guess what I'm trying to tell you, or the point that I'm wanting to make, is that sometimes we get on our trainings or we get on these sessions and we talk about these themes and concepts, and I don't know that we're really grasping it. Like, this is what brands do. This is how consumers relate. This is how, you know, it's just that recognition. It's that familiarity. It's not always a super intentional, well, it is intentional, but like on the consumer's end, the purchasing and the brand recognition and the alignment that they have with these brands is not, like, they don't always realize it on their end. So, you know, like, I literally ran around my house today when I was putting the slideshow together, taking photos. I didn't even clean my son's bathroom sink here. But you know, like, the bathroom that my son uses is on the first floor, and guests come in and they use these products in the shower and on the sink. Like, those are the products that my son uses. He loves that scalp revival scrub, like, will not be without it. He also loves our bath and shower gel, and all the things, right? And then of course the Lumiere de V line, like those toner pads. He likes the gel cleanser. My coffee bar is a mess at the moment, but you know, like, people see, okay, I've got like a fruit basket with some protein bars, but then it's next to these random vitamin packets. So anyone who's over whatever they need, we just grab it. Digestive enzymes, turn up, turn down, daily essentials. We've got our hot tea in jars where I just need stickers and put them on the jar. So this is me in my home doing my own version of this lifestyle marketing, right? And so think about like, what if we did a walkthrough of your house, what would your house look like? Because it will absolutely lead to customers like over and over and over. And sometimes we just overcomplicate this process of like, man, we can't get a customer, we can't get anyone interested in partnering with us in the business. And, you've just got to kind of do the thing. You could also think about product placement, not only in somebody's home, but in a place of business. We've got an incredible opportunity with Nutrimetrics and through the Motives Beauty and Business Academy, where we can implement our products as an extension of service into these service-based businesses. So talk about product placement and like positive gossip and that subliminal product placement and that brand recognition that comes from this. This is, I think, I have so many pictures of different salons, but I think that this may be Jenny's in Wisconsin, Starstruck Artistry. So again, it's just brand awareness. People are used to seeing products in those types of settings and they'll ask. What about even like I literally took this picture right before we started the webinar. So it's not the tiniest of setups, but this is like my skincare and makeup in my studio so that when people come to my office and we're just like, having a chat and they want to try product, this is where they try it. So think about those things. So that's another category, right? That product placement throughout your home, throughout your business. We talked about that lifestyle of just kind of like sharing your little tidbits throughout the day, whether it's like get ready with me and learn how to recreate the look or mixing up my vitamins or protein shake. Now what I want to talk about is like creating an atmosphere that others desire to be in, right? Like everybody has FOMO, right? And again, this isn't just on social media. Like I do all of this more in real life than on social media, because when you're out and about and like when you're, one thing that I've really committed to the last couple of years is really getting invested in my community and, going to fundraisers and frequenting local businesses as much as I can and supporting them and in different ways possible. And so you create a network, right? And so you create this positive gossip and, there are always times that you can kind of you can weave in your business and you as a brand and your products when you're supporting others. Like there's always collaborations to be had, whether a fundraiser where you're donating a basket, etc. So let's talk about like sharing like behind the scenes content where we want to highlight a tangible in-person experience that someone can access. It's a super effective way to create curiosity and secure future booking or appointments or sales, right? So I love this. I just grabbed this off of Jessica's Facebook earlier. So again, Jess is great about, like I gave the example of Lee branding herself with all things beauty. Jess's brand is Limitless Beauty. So she has, a lot that she does on Facebook. She's very invested in her local community. If you follow her, she does an incredible job with lifestyle marketing. And so I just thought this looked so pretty. I just saw it the other day. She said Thursday night we have, so VIP, right? Fear of missing out is like limited spots. We have 5 seats available. Oh my goodness. Sorry. I'm trying to move this, screen sharing link at the top so I can read. We have 5 seats available. If anyone would like to come and make their own foundation, we will help you craft at the perfect foundation, whether it be tinted sunscreen, full coverage, something in between. There's no need to settle for generic color of foundation. You deserve one flawlessly crafted just for you. It's going to be a fun evening. Register using the link. So less is more, right? Like here she's selling the experience over the brand. So we're not branding motives everywhere. In fact, I always feel like it's better to create curiosity sometimes in these types of things where it's like, what is that, right? So you can definitely mirror this or duplicate this strategy or this process. I love focusing on that these, we don't want to do a home party. I mean, you can do a home party. I personally don't like calling them parties. I like to call them workshops or clinics because I want people to know that there's education involved. Like a party to me is like you're just going to be social, right? But like if we want to showcase product with the intent of selling a product and educating somebody, we want to just change that verbiage. We want to level up the expectation a little bit. So making it like limited seating and a VIP experience, secure your RSVP, all those things are wonderful. So she did a great example of that. Another example where you can share images, like we just came off of our Mideast Regional Convention and a lot of people were doing a great job. Just like sharing the lifestyle, right, of what our GMTSS events offer. This happens to be when we did an MBBA event, a Motives Beauty and Business Academy event in Toronto, Canada. And we had some incredible educators up in front of the room, and they were doing skincare demos and cosmetic demos. So just sharing images of that where you can kind of see the products in the background. It's again like that subliminal product placement, but really we're focusing on education of how we're using the products. We want everybody that's attending to learn like not only how to use them effectively, but how do we offer them as a solution for clients as well. So when you share photos like this, you're sharing this tangible experience in this example of a GMTSS event where you're going to create curiosity, but you're totally equipping and empowering people, whether it's other people on your team that are going to see this, whether it's interested prospects who want to come along with you and learn more through the evaluation process, and they can invite their friends to evaluate as well. It's just great leverage for you, not only for your time for sure, but also leveraging these people in front of the room that are amazing at what they do, right? Amazing at their product knowledge, amazing at their educational skills. And there's always something for us to learn, and we want to build event to event. Okay, another example of that fear of missing out or that tangible experience. Like this is just something that a group of beauty advisors put together. Maybe it was last year, I don't really remember. But a spring renewal series where they all got together. They did a series of shop live. So, there was either at the end of this flyer, another flyer that went with it where they had everybody's shop live links and they had a schedule all set up. But when you can leverage, whether it be, we've done like Lauren's VIP beauty lounge on Zoom, we've done shop live series, we've done get ready with me, we've done battle of the brushes, we've done self-care Sundays. Like there's always something that the company is offering or that field leaders are putting together that you can leverage as it's really like a retail event essentially, but we pose it as more of an educational experience that you can leverage. In this case, we're showing you how you can leverage it digitally. And you can invite people to it just as you would invite people to an in-person event as well. So you're getting that credibility from those featured speakers, you're getting that education, and you're just getting people that are purchasing product as a natural progression of wanting what they're learning how to use. So I'm sorry that my image seems to have disappeared, but I just wanted to kind of bring it back to the basics where, all of this to say, when we do this lifestyle marketing, our whole goal is that we want to capture sales, right? We are in business to, yes, access these incredible products at a discount and look and feel our best for ourselves. But let's be honest, we're all here to make money. Like life is so expensive these days. It's all anybody's talking about anytime you get together. Like I just met with a plastic surgeon. My daughter was having a play date with her daughter yesterday, and she asked me how business was. And I was like, honestly, it's great. Like we're really busy right now. And she's like, well, that's good to hear because I'm getting nervous. She's like, I'm not busy at all. And she's like a world renowned, like best in her class at what she does. And she's like, I guess people ran out of like, their incentive money they've got over the last few years. I'm like, listen, people are struggling right now. Like people don't have expendable income. They're not doing those elective surgeries right now. And, And so I said to her, listen, you need to brand yourself a little bit more. Like, you need to get out there, because she doesn't do any of that. Her website's super archaic. She's not on social media. And so we've talked about it before, but now I'm going to lean in with her more and have that conversation. But I digress. The point is, everybody needs more money, whether you're a super, super successful plastic surgeon, whether you're someone who needed money yesterday to pay your mortgage and you're building this business. Like, so many people from so many walks of life are drawn to our company and this opportunity because everybody needs it, right? And why not monetize your lifestyle? It makes total sense. But anyway, you can take a screenshot of this. My whole point of this slide is I did want to recommend you that when at all possible, like when you're sharing on social media and you're getting together in person and things go fast, and like, we just want to make sure we're gathering people's information as much as possible and registering them as a customer through our back office, because that way, no matter if they click on the wrong link, lose your card, whatever the case may be, their order is always going to redirect to you if you're registering them as a customer on your back office first. Super simple process. All right, so if anyone has any questions or comments, I'm just going to do a little recap here as we wrap up, but go ahead and put it in the chat now and I'll get to it before I end. But when we want to recap, let's think about like getting intentional, right? When we opened up, we talked about what life are you living? What life do you want to lead? Because if you want to monetize lifestyle marketing and you want to establish a customer base and you want people that want to evaluate the business plan in order to partner with you, it's all of a numbers game, right? But my style and my experience is the most natural, organic way to build this business is through product, right? Being a product of the product first, and then sharing product with people and building your customer base. So, do some time to think about that. If you're not super clear on like who you are, what kind of life you want to lead, what is your goal, how do you want to help people, really dig in on that. What value do you offer? What skills do you have? What are you passionate about? And also just like keep it simple, right? Like, this is a lifestyle business. Again, everybody's busy, but this is something that we can do little snapshots. We can showcase things, share things. We can take products with us wherever we go. Like, I was at a Girl Scout event and then one mom had liver digestive enzymes, sent her a link through my unfranchised marketing app. Like, it takes seconds, maybe minutes. These are not complicated things. When you meet people, compliment them, comment on something. Beauty's so easy. Oh my gosh, I love your lipstick. Oh my gosh, your skin's beautiful. Like, it opens up a conversation. It's so easy to connect with people. So it should be a natural and organic progression, happens all the time. And when you brand yourself, I'm not, like I said, I'm on social media, I have a presence. I don't spend a lot of time there, but it works in my favor often. Like, I had a mom reach out to me the other day and she's like, oh my gosh, I had a family photo shoot and I did not like the way I looked in those photos at all. Like, I'm embarrassed to say that I'm almost 50. I don't know how to wear makeup. I've always had problematic skin. I need help. Like, can you help me? Because I love the way my kids look in the photos and I hate the way I look and I hate that I feel that way and I don't want to feel like that anymore. And so I do enough sprinkling in of branding and my business into my lifestyle that she thought of me when she had that struggle or that problem. She thought of me to offer her a solution. So that's what you want to do, right? It should be an organic progression. Be authentically yourself. I think why people really struggle with this is because they're trying to be someone they're not. You're trying to mirror somebody else you see on social media. You're trying to like put yourself in a box you don't fit in. Like, we're done with that. Let's not do that anymore. People are drawn to you and your authentic self. Capture moments of your life that show who you authentically are. Some of them are going to be branding and business. A lot of them, most of them should be lifestyle and things that bring you joy and passion and purpose. And again, the fortune is in the follow-up. So people may not always be engaging on your social media. They may not always be commenting on things, but if you make a habit of just reaching out and connecting with people, like people are watching and the work you're doing is effective, I assure you that. So don't get hung up on the likes and the comments, but we can champion each other that way and support each other as brands on social media by liking and commenting on each other's stuff as well. So I hope that you learned a lot tonight. I hope you feel equipped and empowered, and I hope that you sprinkle in the behind the scenes and your everyday life into social media, and you don't need to live on social media and waste all this time doing all these complex things. It should be a very simple flow between the two. And I know many of you are really good at that. But anyway, so love that you all were with me tonight. And we did stream this on Facebook. So those of you on Zoom can watch it there again if you fancy. And then also the recording will be sent to our corporate team, and it has to go through legal and things like that. And then it'll go up on our YouTube channel in our Motives. Mondays are for Motive series. So have a great night, everyone. Have a great week. If you are in the thick of things with kids wrapping up school, we're almost through it, or at least I am. Last week of school for my kids. This week, some of you may already be done, but we can do it. We can do it. But lots of social activities this week to mix and mingle and, strengthen some relationships to keep me going through the summer. So looking forward to that. So we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.